Hello, hello. I'm Casey,
And I'm Fallon.
and this is Render the Darkness, a true crime and paranormal podcast.
Yeah.
In case you were curious, what it is we do. What it is we do most of the time. Today, I kind of stepped away from that realm because this is one of our WTF cases.
Woo, woo.
So it can be anything we want it to be. It's a rando. Is that a word?
Hey, maybe that's what we should start calling them. Randos.
Yeah, it's a rando.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that like slang for something though? I don't know.
I would think random, but I could be wrong.
So today, I decided that I wanted to cover some true dark stories behind some fairy tales.
Ooh, fairy tales.
Fairy tales. Okay, but before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and give you your fun fact for the case, which is that author Hans Christiansen Andersen had an extremely large amount of phobias. He refused to eat pork because he was terrified he would give him a parasite. He was terrified of dogs, and he always carried a long rope with him everywhere he went in case one of his hotels ever caught on fire. He could use the rope to climb out of the window.
That's pretty smart, actually.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty smart. And understand the first phobia because, it's possible.
Okay, so let me just start by saying that I think most of us grew up with fairy tales being whimsical and some kind of like a life lesson attached to it in the end.
Yeah.
Right? I think we could all agree with that. So, although they usually do try to make them happy and fun and, for kids mostly, some of those really are surrounded by a lot of tragedy and some pretty high levels of sadness. If you go back to the originals and the actual stories that were written before they were altered to be more kid friendly. And we're going to cover a couple of those today. And the first one we're going to talk about is Peter Pan.
Ooh, Peter Pan.
Most of us know the story of Peter Pan, Hook, the Lost Boys, Wendy, Tinkerbell. But what if the version that we know has some seriously dark, hidden things in it? Let's go over some of the darkest theories surrounding the truth behind this one. Originally, it was written in 1902 entitled The Little White Bird. This book was written by Scottish playwright and novelist J.M. Barrie. Today, Barrie's story is known to be about a boy named Peter who can fly and has the ability to never grow old while living in a magical place called Neverland. He lives there with his friends, a group of boys called the Lost Boys, and has a fairy friend named Tinkerbell. He takes a girl named Wendy Darling and her two brothers from their regular world to Neverland so they can all be friends and never grow old. And they go on tons of adventures and have lots of fun until Captain Hook, Peter Pan's nemesis, arrives, and he's constantly attempting to get Peter, but he never can, and this is kind of like the generalized idea of the story that we know. But some people believe the story is much darker than a fun fairy tale adventure, and a lot of these theories are based on the original writings of it, not the rewrite that came in 1904 and then again in 1911, which got newly titled Peter and Wendy. So this is from the original J.M. Barrie, Little White Bird. So here's a few of the theories. Theory number 1. Peter murders his friends, aka the Lost Boys, as they begin to age, and Hook is actually a Lost Boy that managed to escape and is actually trying to save the children, which, honestly, I could see this one.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
It seems plausible.
Yeah, okay.
So I get the reason behind that one.
Yeah.
Theory number 2. In this theory, Peter actually drains the children of their youthful spirits by draining their memories, hence why the children start to lose their memories the longer they're in Neverland. And this is how Peter stays young.
Okay. Again?
Yeah, honestly, either opinion makes sense to me. I also read one that suggests that Peter was oblivious to reality himself. Like he doesn't understand what's actually real life and what's pretend. Which again,
yeah, all these kind of, yeah, okay.
And then we start going into some that I'm not so apt to think is plausible. That's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, everybody's going to be their own opinions on it and think how they think. So, theory number 3 is that Peter was actually a grim reaper of children, which is why he takes on a childlike form to make the kids he reaps feel more comfortable.
Oh, okay. I honestly can see that one too.
See, I'm not sure I buy into that one.
I mean, I could see it. I mean,
I don't know.
okay.
Maybe, but I don't know. Okay, so number 4 actually has a trigger warning on this one. So it's hella dark, and it does mention schmooicide. So if that's something that you're sensitive to, skip ahead like 2 minutes. So this theory is that Neverland never actually existed at all, but was actually a dream place that Wendy, John, and Michael were in while they were all 3 in a coma after Wendy convinced her brothers to join her in attempting to unalive themselves by jumping out of the window or off a balcony so that she wouldn't be alone in the afterlife.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. And the reason they all had the same coma dream is because Wendy used to read the boys fairy tales every night, and out of fear of growing up, she began making up stories of a boy named Peter who refused to grow up. And this was the last story that she would tell them before they all attempted to jump.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that one I definitely don't think is accurate. I think it's hella dark. And
well, I mean, a lot of the fairy tales
I just don't.
dark.
Yeah, but that's
real
like
dark.
That's like uber dark.
Yeah, yes.
That's just me personally, though. I don't think that one's accurate, but I do think that, out of the ones we covered, I think a lot of them have some practicalness behind them.
Yeah, they have some potential.
I can see where people would come up with them. So the origin of these theories kind of derived, like I said earlier, from J.M. Barrie's own childhood backstory. When Barrie was 6 years old, his brother David, who was 13 at the time, was accidentally knocked over while ice skating, which when he fractured his skull, and tragically he would die.
Oh.
And that happened the day before his birthday.
Oh.
And the story goes that J.M. was kind of thought to be the one who accidentally knocked David over, and that their mother blamed him for David's death. And so he spent years trying to comfort his mother and regain her affection, even going so far as to dress up in David's clothes on occasion.
Oh, that poor child.
Yeah. A lot of people and a lot of sources believe that this tragedy is what inspired J.M. to create Neverland. So, Neverland, however you want to say it, a magical place where there was a boy who would never grow up. Hence the friend in the original book's name being David, which makes sense. Like, I can't even begin to imagine experiencing, like, not even just such a profound loss at just 6 years old, but then to be blamed
that'd be pretty
and then
bad.
to feel rejected by like the one person that's supposed to comfort you, keep you safe, and love you no matter what. So I can see where a lot of those theories definitely came out of that backstory.
Yeah.
And I could see where Peter Pan, the story itself, came out of that backstory. So, like, I get why you wrote it. Okay, so next one we're going to talk about is The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
So that was my Peter Pan. We're moving on to The Little Mermaid, which this one, in case you don't remember me mentioning him at the beginning from a fun fact, this one was written by Hans Andersen, and it was written in 1837, and it is nowhere near the Disney princess story we all know and love. The original book is dark and very sad, actually. So again, I'm sure a lot of people have read the original book. I personally had not. And for anyone else who has not, let's talk about it. Or even if you have, I guess we still talk about it. But first, I guess I just assumed in the movie that she was at least 18. I don't remember them specifically saying her age in the movie. Maybe they did.
I don't remember them saying how old she was, but
I don't remember either. But I mean, I do know they talked about like her birthday, but in the book, whether they mention it in the movie or not, in the book, she was only 15.
Okay.
And in the book, they just referred to her as the Little Mermaid because she's the youngest of 5 sisters who are all like a year apart. But since we all know her by the name Ariel, that's what I'm going to be calling her for this story.
Okay.
Well, this case. It's not a story. It's true. I mean, I guess stories can be true. Anyway. Okay, so in this book, one of the things each mermaid gets for their birthday when they turn 15 is an opportunity to surface and check out the above world. Each mermaid gets to do this, and now, even in the book, Ariel was fascinated by the world above her just based off the stories that her sisters would tell about their experiences when they got to go up for their birthdays. But, like, when she actually got to turn 15, she was beyond excited. Like, she had already made all these grand plans to be in that world. So just like in the movie, sort of, when it was her birthday and she gets to surface, she sees a birthday celebration taking place on a ship, and the celebration is for a prince whom the book also doesn't name. But again, we know him as Eric, so I will be calling him Eric. As she's watching him on the ship, she falls in love. Then suddenly a storm hits, the ship sinks, and she saves the prince. Now here's where it gets a little bit different between the movie and the book. So, she does pull him to shore, but in the book, she pulls him to shore near a temple where she waits for another woman to find him. So he never actually sees Ariel at all. He thinks it's this other woman that saved him. I guess because she still had a fin.
Okay.
She didn't want to freak him out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Also in the book, not only does she live with her dad, the king, and her sisters, but she also lives with their grandmother. At one point, she asks her grandmother if humans live forever, and the grandma explains that their life is much shorter than that of a mermaid's, which is 300 years, and that once a human passes, their soul gets to live forever in a place called heaven, whereas when a mermaid passes, they just turn into sea foam and that's it.
Oh.
Yeah. So between her desire to get back to her prince that she loves and a desire to have an eternal soul, she does the only thing she knows she can do to get both of those things, which is she visits a sea witch, who, again, there's not a name in the book, but we know her as Ursula, so I will be referring to her as Ursula. In the movie, Ursula offers to trade Ariel's voice for her legs. In the book, she offers to trade her legs for her tongue.
Mm.
Because just like in the movie, Ariel has the most enchanting voice in the world. Also, there's a few more catches to this deal. Definitely different than the movie. So here are the rest of the catches to the deal, okay? In order to make this trade, she has to drink a potion. And once she does, she'll become human, but she can never come back to the sea. Oh, yeah. And drinking the potion will be an almost unbearable pain.
Ooh.
It will feel like a literal sword is being driven into her body. But when the pain fades, she'll have her legs, and she'll be able to dance better than anyone else in the world. So, dance for song, essentially. But wait, there's more. The pain thing will never really go away. It'll just be traded for a different kind of pain, which is she'll feel in her feet that she's being stabbed by knives on a constant basis every step that she takes. And if that's not enough, her feet will also bleed nonstop. But hey, I'm sure she'll adjust.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's totally worth it. I mean...
And as a bonus to all the fun she'll be having up to this point by making this deal, she'll only actually get a soul if the prince falls in love with her and marries her. But this soul that she'll get is not even like her own soul. She'll just get a part of his soul. So she won't even at 100% have him because he's going to split his soul with her.
Oh,
wow. So yeah. Oh, and if she's not successful, if he doesn't fall in love with her, or if he marries someone else, she dies.
Oh.
With a broken heart, she'll simply turn into sea foam and be gone.
Yeah, again, totally worth it.
quite a bit different than the movie. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been able to put most of that in there.
No.
Also, not a deal I think I'd make. I think I'd just keep on swimming around in the sea for the next 285 years. But in her desperation for an eternal soul and love, she takes the deal. She swims as close to Eric's castle as she can get. She drinks the potion. Sure enough, he finds her washed up on shore. She's naked, mute, and with legs. He does find her endearing, captivating, beautiful, and graceful, and they do begin spending a lot of time together. He enjoys her company greatly, loves seeing her dance, confides in her, like a bestie. What he doesn't do is fall in love with her. Not quite the deal Ariel bargained for. And even worse, Eric discloses to her that he's in love with the woman from the temple that he credits for being the one who saved his life. Finding out this woman was actually a princess from a nearby kingdom, he was allowed to marry her since he was a prince, and he goes on to marry her and not Ariel.
Oh no.
Yeah. The wedding was celebrated on a ship, and Ariel's heart was broken, and she now knows her fate at sunrise. But to her surprise, before dawn, her sisters appear in the water, obviously because they're still mermaids. And with them they have a dagger that Ursula had given them in exchange for some of their hair. Apparently, they had really pretty hair.
Okay.
Anyways, so they tell her that Ursula is offering a new deal. If she uses the dagger to kill Eric and lets his blood drip on her feet, she can turn back into a mermaid. Her pain would end, and she could live out the rest of her life with her family in the sea.
Okay.
Unable to actually kill Eric, Ariel throws herself off the ship, dagger in hand, just at the break of dawn. She does turn into sea foam, but she's resurrected as an earthbound spirit, a daughter of air. She's greeted by fellow daughters that explain because of her sacrifice of her life for Eric's, she now has a chance to live out her life, the rest of her 300 years, doing good deeds for others, and afterwards she'll be given a soul and she'll get to spend eternity in heaven.
Wow, yay.
Yeah. A little different than how I remember it. Probably not something Disney could have just blasted on its channel, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, no.
But yeah. I think it's safe to say that a lot of those old fairy tales are pretty fucking morbid as shit. And just some quick pick facts of things that were changed for a more rated G version of the story from some of the other ones. Just a couple quick examples to end the case with. In Cinderella, the sisters were so desperate for their feet to fit in the glass slipper, they cut off their toes and heels.
Yep.
And in the original Sleeping Beauty, she and the prince had twins, but a woman from his life is so upset by this, she attempts to kill the twins by eating them.
Ooh.
So yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that one. I knew the Cinderella one, but I didn't know that one.
If you haven't read the original books from some of your favorite fairy tales, I highly recommend it because they may not have the fairy tale endings that we were raised to believe as a child, which, fair, understandable, but as an adult, it's crazy to read the originals and know that when they were written way back in the day, some of the parents were reading that to their kids at night, like it's a bedtime story.
Yeah, trying to scare them, be like, don't go into the ocean because this can happen. It's like,
I might have had to like G-rate some of that myself for my kids. I might be like, well, this is a little dark.
Yeah.
A lot of that was written in like the late 1800s and early 1900s. So I guess back then the idea was more, instead of like teaching them a life lesson, the idea was more to scare them into doing the right thing.
Yep. That's pretty much all they did.
So, yeah, I didn't know that about either of those stories about Peter Pan or the Little Mermaid because I had not read the originals and I had not dived into some of the theories on Peter Pan. So it was very interesting. I know it's a little bit away from what we do, but I don't know. I just really liked the case. I thought it was a good one. So
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't know the Peter Pan one, but like the Little Mermaid, I knew about the bleeding feet and the stabbing every time she would like they were constantly.
Yeah.
I knew about that, but like I said, I didn't really know about the tongue part. So yeah, I mean, they're pretty.
Pretty
Yeah,
dark. Pretty scary stories there.
yeah, yes.
But if you guys know of anyone that I didn't mention and you want to share some little tidbits, some little facts, or give us a book recommendation to read or whatever, we'd be happy to hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, this is that's our case for this one. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.